Welcome to Bahasa Indonesia, lesson 13, A. There might only be A and B in this lesson. It's a bit shorter than some of the others, so there mightn't be a che. All taken from How to Master the Indonesian Language. Verbs with the prefix ber. These verbs are generally intransitive. That is, they're not working on an object. For examples, berangkat, to leave or depart, berbicara, to speak or talk, berdiri, to stand, bergerak, to move, berhenti, to stop, berjalan, to walk, berkata, to say, berlari, to run, bermain, and he mentions here that bermain is a transitive word, that is, it acts on an object quite often, to play, bertanya, to ask a question, bertemu, to meet, berteriak, to yell or shout, bekerja, to work, and belajar is another irregular word in that it's also transitive. It's usually working on something that you are learning. It means to learn. Notes. If the root word begins with an R and there is an R in the first syllable, the R is dropped from the prefix ber. For example, bekerja. There are very few examples of any of these in the next few examples he gives. The R in the prefix ber becomes L in the word belajar, to learn. The prefix ber plus a noun can mean to have or to possess. Tuan Smith or Pak Smith belum beristri. Mr. Smith doesn't yet have a wife. Dia datang berdasi merah. He arrived wearing a red tie. Sepeda kecil itu beroda 3. That small bicycle, should be a tricycle, has 3 wheels. B. To make use of. Lebih baik kita bersepeda. It's better that we go by bicycle. Saya berjalan ke kantor. I am walking to the office. 4. In the spoken language, we often hear bicara and main instead of berbicara and bermain. The prefix ber is here worn out also in jalan for berjalan. That is, you hear it quite often as just bicara, main, and jalan. 5. The verbs bermain and belajar, however, are transitive. The examples that he gives to explain this is anak-anak bermain bola. The children play football. Kami belajar bahasa Indonesia. We learn Indonesian. B. The imperative and the negative imperative mood of the ber words, that is, orders, and the negative imperative would be don't, I suppose. Berdiri, stand up. Berdirilah, which means the same thing. La just makes it a little bit more polite, I suppose. It softens it a little bit. Silakan bertanya. Please ask. Mari bermain. Let's play. Jangan berhenti di muka pintu rumah orang. Di depan rumah orang. Don't stop in people's doorway. In people's doorway. Jangan berteriak di sini. Orang tidur. Jangan berteriak di sini. Orang tidur. Don't go yelling here. There are people asleep. The idiom, makin, and then makin again. The examples here will explain this better. Very commonly used this. Udara makin lama, makin sejuk. Udara is the weather. Makin lama, makin sejuk. It's getting cooler and cooler. The longer it goes, the cooler it gets. Makin lama, the longer it goes. Makin sejuk, the colder it gets. Nyonya itu makin tua, makin gemuk. Ibu itu makin tua, makin gemuk. That lady, the older she gets, the fatter she gets. Gemuk doesn't necessarily have very bad connotations in Indonesian. People are very commonly referred to as gemuk, and there's usually no problems at all. Gemuk can also mean a person who's big and muscly. It doesn't necessarily mean flabby. Hari makin siang, makin panas. The more towards midday, the hotter it gets, the brighter it gets, or the more it goes on, the hotter it gets. Hujan makin lama, makin keras. The longer the rain goes on, the heavier it gets. We use another word for hujan keras. Hujan lebat is another word for heavy rain. Hujan lebat. Keras is also acceptable. Another idiom, dan sebagainya, or reduced to DSB. It means so on and so forth and others like that. Di toko itu kelihatan sepatu, kemeja, which is a baju, makanan, dan sebagainya. In that shop, there are seen, shoes are seen, shirts, food, and the like. Things like it. Kami membeli buah-buahan, sayur-sayuran, kembang-kembang, dan sebagainya. We bought fruit, vegetables, flowers, and the like. Sambil, while, at the same time. Banyak anak-anak bermain sambil berteriak. A lot of children are playing and screaming at the same time, whilst screaming, whilst yelling. Pak Hasan bekerja sambil merokok. Mr. Hasan works at the same time as smoking a cigarette. Sambil tertawa, dia melihat kepada saya. Whilst laughing, he looked at me. Anak itu minum sambil berdiri. The child drank while standing up. That should see us for lesson 13A. Until next time, selamat belajar.